we'd like to get started actually a little bit early because Helen here, Helen Burr, who's with us from the UK, is on a wall at 614 Washington Street. So the wall that abuts the parking lot for the Lynn Museum, which has sort of been a high target wall for us and a piece. We've wanted to put a piece of art up there for a very long time, and we're finally doing it, but Helen has to go back
with the portrait to explain a little bit more about it. Because my grandmother's basically holding some leaflets that my grandfather brought back from Cambodia, where he was a prisoner of war for 3 years and managed to escape. But I want to confirm some details from her before I tell you more. So yeah, hopefully that'll be on the wall. But yeah, thank you for having me, and I'm going to go back and paint.
So my name's Al Wilson. I'm the executive director of Beyond Walls. I just want to give it up to Centerboard and Jason from the Vision Space Gallery for hosting us here tonight. So thank you, Jason. But you know, this year's pretty special for us. We've got such a variety of artists here from 11 countries joining us. I'd love it if they could all come up. Some of them are also planning to go back to their wall. If you guys can all come up, and why don't we just share a little bit about how you came to Lynn, how you got involved in street art, and what you often paint. So, and Smug. Smug, I'm putting you on the spot, man. Come on up, Smug. This is a thing, I know. Smug's gonna slug me in a minute, yeah. Come on, man. So. Just what do you want me to say about how you got involved in street art? When you first started?
I'm Smug. I'm from a little town in Australia called Murals, a few hours south of Sydney. I started doing graffiti as a kid after pretending to skateboard and hanging out with the cool kids and listening to hip hop and things like that. And found like an outlet for my art through writing my name, and progressed from normal graffiti to doing graffiti with characters, and then progressing my characters from a cartoon character to a semi-realistic to a realistic character. And now I'm just doing these really large-scale murals or street art or whatever you want to call it. But I've been doing it full-time, like 7 days a week almost, for about 10 years now. So, hey, oops, I'll be back. It's sort of cutting out. But yeah, I've been doing this full-time for about 10 years. Been traveling the world for about 10 years, which is great. But I don't know. What more do you want? Oh, right now I'm painting a mural of Ferns, my man, right over there. Who actually lives in the building that I'm painting. And as well, I knew of Ferns before I even knew of Beyond Walls, which is absolutely crazy. He popped up on my YouTube feed one day before last year's Beyond Walls. So it was meant to be. And it actually happened by accident that Charlotte showed me your picture. Before anything else, you were the first person. It was just meant to be. Unfortunately, it wasn't all very good because of that, but at least the subject matter is appropriate. But, yeah, thanks guys. Cheers.
Hi everybody, I'm Michael Agahoa, Lynn resident, artist. Hi, can you hear me back?
Yeah.
Michael, graduated from Monterey College of Art 2017. Went to Lynn Tech, graduated from Raw Artworks. Definitely happy to be surrounded by such amazing talent. I say that, seeing the murals from like even where my wall is on the Simmons building, it's pretty crazy. Can I just put this down? I can speak loud. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I work at the Greg House with the kids, and I've been working there for 4 years. I went there as a kid when they lived over near the Rotary where the market basket is. It was like an old white church. It was really cool. And then I was part of the class that moved into the new building, so like I feel really old over there. When I tell the kids that, like, I remember when we moved into this building, and they're like, yeah. Kids say, you're old. Now I currently run the ceramics room over there, and I run a graffiti club every Friday. I don't know anything about graffiti. I just know kind of how to use a spray can, and I tell them all about the history of it. And we listen to old hip hop, which is really cool. Because I tell them, I was like, you can't respect the art without respecting old hip hop. They're like, of course they think old hip hop was born, and they tell me I'm old again. But we keep on going, and they have a lot of fun going around the city and seeing all the art and seeing the graffiti that's around the city and just learning techniques on how to use it. So that's really cool. I'm currently painting on the Simmons building on Andrew Street. There's a little parking lot there. It's a really big wall. It's a big jump. I'm not really a mural artist, but I just happen to be painting the mural. With an important message. And the message is really for the kids and to the developers in the city. I don't know if you guys know, but there's a lot of weird things going on with affordable housing. And there's not much of it. And it just seems kind of greedy. And so my wall features the kids at Greg House that I work with, ages 10 and up. And they're holding up their houses that they drew, just to, like trophies, because they should be proud of where they're from. And hopefully when they're my age and older, they should be able to live here. And that's just honestly how I feel. And I feel like my role as an artist that lives in Lynn is to talk about that. Yeah.
All right, better? All right, good.
Deeper.
My name is Chris Saravilla, and people call me Golden. I'm from Miami. I'm from Venezuela. I live in Miami. This is the second time. Can you hear me good?
Yeah.
This is like weird. Like I don't even know what I'm doing.
There you go. Oh, wow.
This is the second year for me participating in Beyond Walls. Last year was amazing. This year, so far, is amazing also. I'm very happy to be back here. A few familiar faces. It's good to see everybody back again and see how the project has changed people's life and the city little by little. This year, we're also, me and my partner Ruben, he's not here because he's painting. We're painting a mural each again by the new office on Vermont Street, Vermont, or whatever. And we're just very happy to be here. We feel lucky that we got to come back. We are the first ones to repeat because we're awesome.
Yes, you are.
And I don't know, man. Everything is good. People is amazing. They treat us like family. We feel like family. We feel like home. And I just love this weather and this landscape and the houses and the food. I don't know. This is like magical. When we come from Miami and from Latin America, so all this is like in the movies for me and for my partner. So we're happy to be back. We're happy to see us and the guys, baby, grow into what it is now, which I think is amazing. And I don't know, man. I'll be at the wall painting. We'll be there for the next few days. If you guys want to come and hang out, we're going to be barbecuing and drinking. That's it. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me. Have a great day.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
How you doing? My name is Felipe Ortiz, and I am from Colombia, and I also, yes, thank you. All right, Colombia. And, but I also represent Massachusetts because I've been here now for a few years, and I went to school here in Boston, Mass College of Art, and I've stayed here, and my roots here are now in Massachusetts and Colombia as well, because I can never leave my hometown, and at least not from my heart. And so I'm happy to represent both the regional artists, the local artists, as well as international. And this year, I am presenting a cool project called the Fresco Exchange.
Lost track.
Okay, I'm back on. The Fresco Exchange, which is a project that I've been developing with a few partners that help Latin American artists promote their art and get more visibility and more expand our network up here in the United States. And it's usually done through gallery settings, gallery exhibitions. We curate a wide selection of Colombian artists, mostly artists that are active on the public art scene in Colombia right now. And they also express themselves through fine art. And so we collect some of those pieces and bring it up here and do exhibitions along East Coast and West Coast, and we do tours and public art murals as well. And we try to invite and have an exchange of creative ideas through creative economies too, to overcome some of the challenges or obstacles that we see over there as well as over here.
Yes.
So now that the mic is back on, I should also advertise that on August 2nd, there will be an opening reception for this traveling exhibit that I am talking about. It features over 17 artists, and we have over 70 pieces of artwork that will be displayed at the Gala Gallery in Lynn Arts Building, yes, on Exchange Street. And so also on August 3rd, we'll also be there. The gallery will be open, and we'll be doing a live painting piece outside of the gallery, and we'll be part of the festivities as well with Rock the Block. And so we're really happy and honored to be here and be able to be painting with such amazing talent, and also be able to collaborate with our partners in Colombia, Gráfica Mestiza, and and so with that, I might as well introduce them to come up here. Thank you very much.
Why don't we have Ivan and Jesus, why don't you come up here and sit down, and we'll have a little panel discussion if we can. Cyprus, come on up, mate. Bring you up. Yeah. Come on, buddy. We got Lisa with us. Lisa, yeah, come on up. You have a few artists that are still going to be arriving in the next couple of days. One of the artists, Bordalo, too, is coming in from Portugal, and many members of the community have helped over the last 4 weeks collect all of the plastics that he's going to be using in his piece. And I think this is going to be a tremendous addition to the portfolio of art we have in here in Lynn. But I see quite a few people that helped us on the collection and the cleanup of downtown Lynn through this. So thank you so much. And before we get started, I just want to point out the team, if I can. Charlotte Mayer, who's sitting here. So Charlotte is really running the festival, has curated the festival, and right now it's going rather smoothly. So I think I just jinxed us, but it's going tremendously well. Julia Midland, to her right. Julia does all of our programming, much of the organization, and really also on the funding side. that allows us to bring in these artists from all over the world, as well as pay our local artists. And then Pedro Soto, who's Pedro's wearing all black. He's project planning right now a 3-acre site on the waterfront, which is sort of our Beyond Walls' biggest venture to date. That we're going to be doing an event there on Saturday with the local graffiti group, Lynn LMA. We're going to be doing a competition 8 to 10 p.m. down at 3739 Bouvier. So if you didn't know it, Lynn has a ferry terminal, and we're going to be holding a huge street battle down there. And so hit us up afterwards. We have a list of our events, and we have the map for where all the artists are. Obviously, we have some t-shirts and stuff in the back as well. So why don't we kick this off? And I'd love it if we can just talk about maybe how parties are approaching their wall. And I'm actually going to start with Cypros. Maybe you can share a little bit about the inspiration behind the piece or in the building, the neighborhood, or what's inspired you. Yeah. Or Cypros, how you got started in art. And Josie, if you can translate that.
Hi guys, I'm from Brazil. I speak a little bit English, okay? I'm from São Paulo. My second time here. I love the city. I love everybody here, okay? Okay, my work is, my inspiration comes from kids. I love kids. I have 2 daughters, and excuse me. Okay, I painting graffiti 22 years. I start 14 years old. This is my life. Graffiti is my life. All the time, graffiti in my mind. Yes. Yes, in Brazil. No, I have working here, state, China, Italy, Holland, German, Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, Mexico, Brazil. Yes.
And what wall are you
yes.
on?
Yes.
What's your wall? Kip.
The Kip Academy.
Kip Academy.
The one up on top of the Jamaican.
Oh, Kip Academy. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
The big ear.
The big
Gotcha.
ears.
Yeah.
Sorry guys. Okay.
They did great.
Just thank you. I love you, Claudia.
Why don't we pass it to Lisa here?
Lisa,
you can share maybe what you knew of Lynn before you came in, and what's been your involvement with the community so far. Maybe a little bit about your piece and where you're putting your piece up.
Probably the worst question for me because I don't know anything about Lynn. This is my first time to America. The project came about and I kind of jumped on the train. I'd been sick for previously before I got here, so I didn't get to do too much background research. But it's I kind of like that sometimes when you're traveling, you just throw yourself, you land into like a new place, a new country, and with no preconceived idea, and then you really just get to take the realness away from the community and the demographic and the culture and everything you feel and see on the spot around you. So I guess in saying that, in the short time that I've been here, jet lagged, I haven't really had a chance to speak to a lot of the community, but I have had a chance to get to know the workers, and I haven't really spoke to any locals yet.
You're about to.
Today was the first day I've been painting, but I've had great conversations with everyone so far, and I'm in awe of this little cute town, and excited to spend some more time here. And yeah, my wall is Where are you from? From Australia. Yeah.
Australia.
Oh.
Australia.
Do you do murals there?
Yeah.
Not working?
Here it is.
There you go.
Yeah. LMA's history here in the city and what you're going to be doing. Yeah, it's part of the battle. Yes.
Hello, everyone. Hi-yo. Yellow over here. I'm not on camera. Cameras are down. There's one right there. I'm camera shy. I'm fine with my public speaking. I'm very camera shy. So it's not helping that you're doing it. I do, and it's important to me. So everyone can respect that. I respect that. I'm from Brockton originally, but I live in Florida. I left here, I was 11 years ago, something like that. And I was just kind of painting in Florida. My fiance is here with me, and I was. I'm 6 years clean and well, not sober, but clean. And she recommended that I start writing graffiti again to help me cope with life and anxiety and all that good stuff. So that's why I paint, or I started writing graffiti again. It's something I did as a kid. I grew up here, a lot of Boston-based crews, terrorizing your neighborhoods. And now I'm here back to give to your neighborhoods, and it's amazing, and thank you. I'm also part of LMA, the infamous graph crew that if you are from Lynn, you probably know of. If not, then we're the guys you dated. But we're here to love you now. We're doing a graph competition here, but we're also honoring our friend's life. He passed away last year due to drug abuse, and so we want to bring awareness to that and celebrate his life and his family and the city. Thank you for having me.
You guys feel comfortable talking about your work and maybe the diversity of the lineup that you've seen here so far in Lynn? Not working? It's working. Sorry.
Okay. Hi, my name is Ivan. I'm from Colombia.
Bring it right up.
I'm from Colombia. I'm part of the Festival Exchange work with Beyond Walls. And my friend is Jesus. He runs a project that is researching about street art in Latin America for maybe, let me check, 10 years. Yeah, they've got a lot of people around Latin America doing research about our graphic. They call it Gráfica Mestiza. It's like a mestizo graphic, if we want to translate it. They ask me what you want to say, and then I'm going to say something about my work.
Buenas tardes. Bueno, yo soy diseñador gráfico.
trabajo en un proyecto de investigación colectivo con más personas, compañeras antropólogas, comunicadoras, diseñadoras.
He's a graphic designer. He has that project that I told you, and he's working with teams that they've got anthropologists, psychologists, designers, and social communication people.
Actualmente participo de la organización del Festival de Arte Urbano de Cali, que se llama Graficalia, es el Festival de Arte Urbano por la Paz.
And right now he's working on a big festival in our city, where we are from, and it's called Graficalia, and it's a festival about the peace processing in Colombia. And it's organizing by the, what do you say, Alcaldía?
By the mayor's office.
The mayor's office.
Y también hago parte de la Mesa de Gráfica Urbana de Cali, que es la organización de artistas independientes que también organizan el Festival Independiente de Arte Urbano de la ciudad.
And he is part, and me too, we are part of the union of the graphic designers, of the street artists in Cali. We have a union, and we have another independent festival that is right now happening in our hometown.
Y en esta ocasión, pues vengo como a mostrar el trabajo de diferentes artistas latinoamericanos. Nosotros hicimos una convocatoria por internet y nos llegaron muchas propuestas, más de 90 propuestas de México, Argentina, Chile, y tratando el tema de hogar, emigración, identidad, acá
Okay, so they do an open call around Latin America for choose some works from the people who applied, and they received more than 90 proposals, more than 90 pieces, from Mexico to Argentina, all the countries. Okay, and the theme is identity, home, and migration in the United States.
Y esas obras van a estar expuestas en diferentes partes de la ciudad en forma de paisaje, es otra forma de arte.
And he's gonna do with paste with those pieces around the city. You're gonna see them, and because this is another way to intervene the streets. So it's another kind of street art. Okay. Okay. That's and he said thank you for the invitation and for being here. About myself, what I do, I'm a photographer and a designer, and I build my walls with the pictures that I took in the communities. I define the people in the streets like the real heroes, because for me, those are the people who support the system, our system.
Thank you. So I know Helen had to get back to her wall, and BK Fox arrives tomorrow, working on a very, very large wall on Monroe Street, 21 Monroe. But Lisa, I'm wondering if you could maybe share some thoughts on how life is as a female artist in a very male-dominated field. And I know I'm asking this as you're the only female artist up here right now. So. And if you have any words of advice or encouragement for any female artists who are in the room.
Okay. All right. I didn't know that was going to be firing at me. I guess, generally speaking, if I was to be transparent with you, I actually have found it quite difficult for me, I live in a smaller town in Australia, so our scene is very tiny, and there's only a few key kind of players, and so I guess the scene is stemmed from the grassroots of graffiti, and it was and always has been predominantly male. So generally speaking, breaking into anything, no matter what it is going to be hard because gender equality and so have you. I feel like my personality, I'm quite a straight shooter, so that's like served me well in terms of not really putting up with too much, but I don't really know. I guess for women that want to get into it, I think just find your heroes. There's more women doing it now. My heroes were always men, and I'm a bit of a tomboy, and I've always grown up around boys, so it was easy for me. But I would say, yeah, find your female heroes and be inspired, and just take what you can from watching their strength. And the scene is there's more girls painting now, so I don't really know what to say. It's like any kind of thing with gender equality, you just have to kind of fight for change. And it's happening, so yeah.
Why don't we, Smug, why don't you come back up and we'll do a little Q&A here if we can. Come on, Smug. Come on, that's the third time today. Come on, man. But also, I'd be amiss, I didn't see Danica Thurston, but oh, there she is. So Danica is the other member of the Murals team. And I thought she dropped out, but Danica has actually put together an awful lot of community engagement events for Beyond Walls. Has done tremendous work, and many of the events that you're seeing, whether they're here or in a location, or also she's helped out on some of the events at Patio. I don't know, has anyone gone to a patio event or seen Patio? No? Yeah. Well, we've got parklets that are on the street now, and we're really trying to engage those spaces. So the patio events, we'd love to have you at those. Again, we've got a list of events that are coming up. And then Josie, who's up with us doing some translation, has been doing an awful lot of community engagement work. Really mapping the city, talking to the major stakeholders, having a lot of coffee, one-on-ones. And it's been tremendous work, and we're getting an awful lot of feedback from the community. So hats off to both of them for the work that they do. So we'd like to turn it over to a Q&A, and because I just found out that the mic is actually set up for the recording, so we miss any questions if they don't use the mic. If you could just raise your hand and come up and ask your question, that would be great if you're okay asking it into the mic. So, do we have any questions for the artists? Yeah?
You could just be a
Say that.
I want to know how many of you really just travel the world doing this, or are you mostly in your home country? And are you doing this all the time? Like, what's it like in other places? I think it's a very exciting thing to have happening in Lynn and also on the North Shore. There seems to be an expanding art form, and I think it's very exciting. I've always loved graffiti, and want to know, what else they do.
So let's hand this over to.
We drink a lot.
Let's bring this to I've been following Golden since last year here in Lynn. Has not stopped. He's been non-stop on the road. Pretty varied places that you've been going to. I don't know how you do it, but I'd love to hand it over.
I can't say another mic, but yeah. No, I've been blessed with this. I'm a father of 3. I have a regular life, a regular family side. I have a 16-year-old daughter, a 14-year-old boy, a 9-year-old daughter. I have a dog. I have a boat. I have a wife. I have a dog. When I was 40 years old, I was 4 years old, I told my wife that I was going to sell my businesses and start making unicorns and walls. She left me to went to her mom, of course. She thought I was doing some kind of like hard drugs. And I just really believed that I was good at this, that I was going to make something special happen. And I did. I have traveled a lot of places. I've been all over in a very short amount of time. And I've been able to express and show my art in many different cultures around the world. And it's really a dream come true. And it is super amazing that this is what I do for a living. And then I became the hero of my kids, of course. Yeah. And also the hero of my wife, which is stuck with me. It was hard when it was a dream and it was no money involved. Now I'm getting checks, and she's very happy, of course. So it is amazing to be, for me, it is like for people, other people like Cyprus and as well, that they travel the world, they probably travel the world twice. But they've been doing it for a lot longer. It is already like, it is incredibly special for them also. But they used to, because they've been doing it for a long time. For me, every day is an adventure, you know, like I should be in an office doing something, and then I'm here full of pain, so for me, still every day when I wake up, I'm like, okay, it was a dream. Oh no, shit, no. And then I go and do it again. So it is amazing. That's all I wanted to share.
So it's just really cool to have you guys here. I've had the good fortune of being able to go to a lot of different places in the world and taking photographs of street art. And one of the things that I really love about it is the power to kind of interrupt an everyday scene with something that's completely different and kind of open up a different world. And so partially, complete gratitude for the work that you do there. And I'm also kind of wondering, you know, what is it about the street particularly that draws you to, you know, for that to be your canvas?
I don't know, it's kind of a tough one to be honest. I mean, I started as a graffiti artist, so I started just messing stuff up. If I saw something's property, I just wanted to ruin it. You know? And that's what drew me to painting on the street, because I wanted to mark my territory and piss everybody off. And I was just a bad kid. But now, man, if we could make a canvas that was 8 stories tall, I'd paint a canvas that was 8 stories tall, you know? I just paint the buildings because they're there, you know? And it's a little strange on the building that I'm painting right now, actually, because it's a beautiful building. It's got this nice checkerboard thing happening on there, and it's pretty. And I feel kind of bad that I'm covering that. But normally, it's a crap wall, you know? Normally, it's a terrible, falling apart, brick render, mixed wall, and anything can improve that, you know? So I think the positive about painting on the street is that we can make something that's shabby or average look spectacular. But honestly, it's just because I like painting big, and we can't make canvases bigger than a few meters. You know, that's all it is for me.
I have a follow-up question to the traveling question. So my question is more for the artist, like for somebody who starts up locally and they kind of get to a point where they kind of hit a glass ceiling, they painted a lot locally and maybe in other little towns, and they want to grow to a place where you guys are traveling the world, painting everywhere, all around the world. How do you like go from like painting locally to painting all over the world? How do you break the glass ceiling from like finally getting from like beginner artist to somebody who knows knows what they're doing.
I just always think you just have to paint. Like whatever you want, you just make it happen. So I would just save money and go wherever you want to paint and just paint. And like presence is everything, and growth from portfolio, and just travel and paint.
So I'm like in a place in my career where I'm like just starting to like break into that, right? Like while I'm here, I got like 3 other traveling opportunities: Canada, Denver, all over the place, right? And that's not important. That is not important. Why are you painting? Is a question you need to ask yourself. You could paint celebrities. Check, buddy. Check. Yo. It's hit. The brewery. Shout out to the brewery. You could paint celebrities. You could paint like pretty whatever you wanted to. But like, why are you doing this? I think that's the important question you ask yourself. I'm in a place where like I'm starting to paint people I feel like I want to paint, opposed to the subject matter like being like pretty and shit, you know. And it's starting to work, I guess. I don't know. People feel it because it's real to me. And in the past year, it's exploded. You know, I think that's a more important question. And once you can start answering those questions, everything else will just fall into place. And I'm starting to feel that. So I think if you do that, you will too.
Thank you.
So I agree to an extent to what these guys said. I think what Lisa touched on when she said presence, I think that's absolutely everything. So no one gets a big break really. Everyone gets a series of little breaks. And my first break was MySpace, you know, like years and years ago. Because I painted in tunnels, I painted under bridges, no one saw my shit. And then I started using like Photolog and MySpace, and you know, I only put a picture up every month or something, you know, twice as often as I do now. But through that, someone noticed me and asked me to come to paint at an event. And then my next breaks were just painting at these events. So the trick is just to paint and travel and spend a crap load of money and do it all off like your own back. But if you paint at these events, you'll be invited to another one. And then you'll be invited to another one. And I'm only just now getting to the point that I'm getting paid to do the things that I want to do, just like you sort of touched on. I mean, it's a long road, but you've got to just keep... Check the mic. But you just got to keep doing it, and it costs you a fortune. I mean, it's beans or lobster. Well, it's a bad example in this state. But you've literally got nothing, or you've got so much that you don't know what to do with. That's the life of an artist. But you just got to keep doing it, or you'll never get there. And it feels like maybe you're making no ground at all, but you'll end up getting an invite, and you'll end up getting another invite, and another one, and another one. But right now, you know, people think, oh, you've got so many Instagram followers, which I think is bullshit. But they think you must get so many invites, and you're so lucky you've got all these fans. But if I don't paint for 2 months, I don't get another invite to another event. And I have to reach out to people and say, hey man, do you want to invite me to your event? You know, you just got to keep painting as often as you possibly can, or whatever it is. I mean, it's not even art, it could be anything. You just got to keep doing it. If you rip cars apart and make a new car, you've got to keep making them. You can't just sit back and wait for someone to come to you with an old beater and say, can you do my car? You've got to keep doing it. So I think it might not be the answer you want, you've got to graft as hard as you possibly can, which comes sense. And just
for 2 years in a row, Beyond Walls, you know, so every year we do a request for a proposal, right? And we should chat after we get off the panel here. But you know, we find artists that are up and coming artists, and we try and support those artists. We've seen sort of some examples of artists where they've saved up money, they've had a wall or walls that they've been targeting, and they've found a way to make a form a relationship with the building owner and the building management and get permission. And you know, it's partially a shame that it's come to Instagram on this stuff, but it so perfectly fits Instagram that often that's how we're stumbling upon artists, and you can do that if you're able to sort of negotiate deals with building owners. And another example of an artist who is at that sort of top echelon level is an artist named Cobra. He's born in 1974. He's from Brazil. He's been doing the work for ages. He's somewhat of a legend. Cypros is friends with him. We've attempted to get Cobra here the last 2 years. This last year, Cobra, on his own dime, paid for all of his work in Manhattan. He did Cypros. How many walls did he do in New York? Yeah, five or six walls that he did in New York, which he's on that, he's sort of on that caliber of sort of top echelon level artist. Might have 1 million followers now. He was still doing this, yeah, Josie points out he's Brazilian, yeah. But he paid for his walls. He got agreements, he paid for his walls, he got that. Now obviously he's got the means to do that, but I think it can start on that local level and you just gotta keep painting. Yeah, so, it's
thank you.
moving.
Hi everyone. Thank you all for being here, really, I appreciate it. This is maybe a related question. Last year we had a panel of all the women artists, and someone asked for advice for up-and-coming young artists. And I was surprised because more than half of the advice was actually business advice. It was like, answer your emails, respond to phone calls, keep on top of your social media. And it said to me that there's a lot of hustle involved in what you're doing. And I'm curious, the extent to which the entrepreneurship, the business side, the hustle is something that makes this kind of more exciting to you all, or it's kind of necessary evil. It's part of what you got to do what you love doing. Thank you.
I'll move to on this line. Look, I'm probably not the best person to answer this actual question because I don't hustle. I just paint. I post one thing on Instagram every 2 months. People are chasing me every day to answer emails, and I don't answer. So I don't think it's about the hustle for me personally. I just paint, and I'm lucky enough that people enjoy what I do, and they fight really hard to get me to come and paint their things. But yeah, I think I'm the exact opposite to what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, answer that. So how did Beyond Walls? Sorry. How did Beyond Walls get you to come?
I don't know, did you send me loads of emails? I can't remember.
We actually, at Beyond Walls, we had sort of a private sort of dream list of parties that we wanted to find a way to get to Lynn, and we did this list completely separately from each other, and then got together and looked at our list, and then Smug was on each of our lists. So we'd sort of seen Smug and wanted to bring him to Lynn, and it was pretty special. So and Charlotte and Julia and Pedro were all a big part of that. So I think it was really Charlotte. It was Charlotte doing an awful lot of research.
I want to ask a question to my friend Ruben. How does it feel to work to the hand by hand of such an amazing artist like me? Come and get it. Come and get it. Come here. Come here for the part. Be respectful to people.
So what was that question again? Hi, how you doing, guys? I'm sorry that late. I was on top of a wall, had to make sure that it was outlined
sign before I could read it. So the question was, how does it feel to work with such an amazing person? No, really, Golden and I think make a great team because we created this collective that is now the GWC Collective of Cobra with Cyprus, and he does what I don't do or can't do, and vice versa. And he's really good with tools, with getting his hands dirty, with making things appear out of nowhere. I just go to a place and paint. So there's a part of this whole process that I guess everybody's beginning to see, that it's a lot of production behind the scenes. And Golden has both the talent of paint and the ability to make all of these other things happen. We went to China and he doesn't speak the language, I don't speak the language. I come out and like, where's Golden? And all of a sudden he's coming with 2 people. Well, he's gonna give us electricity, he's gonna give us water. I'm like, who are they? I don't know. We just kind of like, jumped in together. So it feels good, buddy. It feels good.
Yo, I've heard stories about Golden. Yo, like, Ramon was telling me that he would just come with the grill and start like cooking where anyone was paying, he would start cooking.
First time I met him.
That's part of the hustle. That's hustle right there.
That's how I met him.
For real.
The first time.
For real. I met y'all at Basel 3 years ago. You know, and that's how we got linked up, because that one was G too, but whatever. But to talk about the hustle again though, like, I was here last year. I didn't get picked, you know, but I came somehow. I'm here this year. Was I on the card?
What's that?
I wasn't on the card. You know, I didn't get.
I can speak to
No, it's cool. But what I'm saying is, like, the hustle, like, for me, it's all about the hustle. Like, I come from Brockton, grinding, making it happen. Like, fake it, but like, making it happen, definitely. Like, so to see, like, homeboy, like, yo, you put in the work, though, right? And then here you are, you know? Like, same thing with Ruben, he puts in the work. That one joint with the baby, how many times?
Our police work.
Yo. But the grind is real, definitely.
I actually want to say something about that, because I went into the question that Golden was saying, which wasn't it. It's about that also. I think there's a 50-50 balance until you reach a particular point in yourself and your career. Self, because, you know, a big part of this comes from self. This is art, and it's visual art, what we do in this room, but it's not designed in which there has to be a kind of language and speaking, and you have to be satisfied, and the artist has to be satisfied. In this case, it's more about a direction that we have each taken, and that's why you struggle, because how do you know Picasso's Picasso? Because he has this particular style that at some point, while he painted super realistic, he just decided to, no, I mean, I draw realistic like all of my colleagues. So now I'm gonna go for this particular direction that is a self-expression. And when we read looking for that self-expression, there's a lot of struggle. Because once you find it, you don't know if it's right, because you've never seen it before. And you're trying to experiment and do all of these things, and you have to see how the people respond. With that, you gotta balance it with the professional aspect, which is, I guess, why you heard all of that. Because a lot of artists, once we go into that side, it seems almost like a disconnect with the real world. And you have to be constantly thinking in these ethereal subjects and things, and sometimes people call you crazy or whatever, but when the moment to create something comes, that's why you can respond right away. And I think that struggle is really, it's the balance that has to be kept. Necessity is the mother of creativity. I was literally talking that with Golden.
Take it.
Yes.
I was literally talking about this with Golden before we arrived, that there's a point that if you get too comfortable, you're not creating. You're not riding that line. But necessity is the mother of creativity. You see us kind of planning and plotting, but there comes a day that you know, if I don't do it tonight, this is not gonna get done. I have to decide if it's gonna be red or yellow, blue, and you start making these things under pressure, these decisions under pressure, and all of a sudden, things happen. You know, they say in my country, quemando que se guisa, burning is how you learn how to cook. So once you get in there and you start mixing, Pollock comes out.
He didn't expect to do that, but it happened. But in that struggle, I think that's where basically, believe it or not, everything lies. And it's just being able, I guess, to take the abstract world that we live in and be able to market it, merchandise. And that is, I think that is the hard part of the struggle, you know?
Reach.
I'd like to ask a question in Spanish.
Sure.
Okay. Can someone translate for me? Me encanta el idioma español y quiero pedir una pregunta en español, pero no es mi idioma primario. Estoy muy feliz de estar con ustedes y quiero decir que aprecio mucho la contribución que hacen ustedes y que no sé si yo quiero preguntar qué piensan del efecto que hay en la comunidad con el arte que hace, cómo inspira a la gente, cómo transforma la ciudad en lugares.
You want help with the translation?
Yes.
You need
Okay.
Okay. So I'm very grateful that you guys are here. And
Use the mic, use the mic.
Yes, I am Carolina Trujillo and I work for Essex Media Group, Director of Community Relations, but I'm also affiliated as a board member for Beyond Walls. So I'm very excited. So basically what she was saying is that she's very grateful that you guys are here, but the question is basically, how do you feel you transform with the art that you're putting up on walls? How do you feel people are transformed by seeing the art?
Es como mucha gente en la ciudad está luchando con familia, con trabajo, sin trabajo, con la pobreza. Y cuando ven el arte, siente como está transformado en otro estado, siente como esperanza. ¿Y cómo es para ustedes de crear este proceso, es el arte, que ¿cómo es para ustedes de hacer esto y transforma las almas?
So, yeah. Basically, she's saying that people are struggling every day with jobs and kids, and some people without jobs. And that what is the process that you guys put together in order to inspire the hope in people with the art that you're creating on the walls, with the art that's outside? So ahora les toca a ustedes hablar para que ellos puedan que iba a Colombia.
She speaks really Italian. It is working?
Yeah. Well, we have been working in Cali. In Spanish? Oh, shake it. Yeah, it's coming. We have been working in Cali in some social projects that are yeah, we have been working with the people and with the community in our hometown. It's a different way because it's a different place for sure, and we have a different history back there than you here. But at the end, yeah, sure, the art can change the behaviors of the people, change our imagination about our places, and it's the same back there and also here. For us, it's a pleasure to work with the art. We have that pleasure, and we try to change the world with what we do. But for me, this like the street art is coming like famous in the past years, but we don't know as a society, when I mean society, worldwide society, we don't know what the real, I don't know, the real things about what street art does, because we don't have enough time to study it. It's like when you have an illegal thing, you can study about it, and now we have studied it, but just for 20 years, and that's not much about our history as a human beings.
So it's part of the new things in the world. For sure it's changing, but I think we have to learn more about it, about those processes.
Check it.
About those processes. Yeah, that's how I can answer it.
Bueno, en mi caso, a través del arte urbano, lo que me gusta es poder ver que puede llegar a todo tipo de personas. O sea, si está en la calle, le llega al que tiene plata, al que no tiene plata, al que está trabajando, al que está desempleado. Y esa visión, pues también lo bueno del arte urbano es que a todo el mundo no le gusta. Y muchas veces, a través del trabajo de ellos, hay gente que le cambia, transforma también la mente de ver las cosas y puede entender la vida diferente. Hay gente que no, y eso es chévere porque lo bueno de la calle es eso, de que te permite que el mensaje sea para el que quiera recibirlo, por así decirlo.
I wasn't paying attention for translating, just for understanding. Oh yeah, the good thing about the street art, it's for everyone because everyone can see it, even if you have money or not. It doesn't care because it's on the streets. So. And also there is a different message because it's a different artist who made all those interventions on the streets. But he said also that maybe someone don't like street art, but it doesn't care because it's telling the world another way to see the world. Something like that. Yeah. It's how I translate it.
Why don't we do 2 more questions if we can? Can we do 2 more questions? We have them? Anyone? No?
Right here.
No?
Hey guys, I'm Katie. I am a team member at Beyond Walls, helping John Andrews and Creative Collective. My question for you guys, in front of everybody. My question is about your style. Obviously, each and every one of you and all the artists that have come to Lynn Beyond Walls have very unique styles. So, if a couple of you want to touch upon maybe how that may have transformed over the years, and where those changes have stemmed from, whether it's your heritage, personal experiences, a little bit of everything, and yeah, please.
Yeah, I think we all can answer that, and everybody has their own style because we're each unique as people, as you all are, you know, and that's the beauty of art. As we work, like I was saying before, you know Picasso because he has a style, you know Van Gogh because he has a style, you know every single one of these artists because he has a particular style. I always talk about how you can go to a tattoo convention and you can see a lot of beautiful skulls, flowers, roses, hourglasses, candles, but who did which? And sometimes you even see the people that did it like, is that yours? No, that's mine. Mine has the light. And it's like, okay, we're all kind of doing what that market wants rather than having an expression of self. Once you have, I remember hearing this, and don't quote me on this, hearing somebody say that after 8 years to 10 years of you going in your direction as a real artist, like going, trying to do this as a career, you kind of look within already. And you start noticing one of these particularities, how we all can draw, but how can I just do be there? You know, how can I put that on the wall? And in my own, on my own path, it was, you know, I studied neoclassical, very hyper. So the neoclassical didn't work because for neoclassical you have to stay in a room and doing the same thing. It's classical because of a reason. You have to do that what was done in that particular way. And the older I got, the more I would be like, but that's it. You know, Da Vinci did Da Vinci. Yeah, I can do that, but that's not what I want to do. And as long as it takes, and there's skateboarding out there, and there's girls, and there's BMXs, I can be here. And all of a sudden, I just started, I saw graffiti in New York City, illegal graffiti. I saw this guy spray this thing, and my mind exploded because I saw that he did it in like a minute. And he was right. So I was like, if I can bring that to my figure drawing, I can just fly with this. And I mean, in hindsight, you know, everything looks 2020, but it's really a trajectory that much later is when you start seeing it. So I found my style by just experimenting out there, mostly with golden now in the last years, because we have been hit with so much commercial work that we can do what we want most of the time. They say, I want a mermaid, and I want it to say big breast mermaids. And you're like, oh, okay, well, I'm not going to post this, but you need to survive. And you can do it. And thanks to the spray can, you can do it in a weekend, a whole restaurant. And we do it. But every time that we travel and we get to do a new commercial or residential or whatever it is, commission, we try to go out there, we try to leave work, we try to experiment with what we really want, because we already got paid, so might as well just do what we do and leave something behind in a city. I particularly don't vandalize, never have, but I learned from that particular background. And all of my friends were vandals, and they taught me how to do this and why to do this and all of that. So my style developed in that way, and I just try to, now when I look back, I'm analyzing the question, and I just seeing that I have come to mix the neoclassical with the vector and the graffiti in a way that I can freestyle it in any wall that they give me. As a matter of fact, the more intricate, the more I like it. Now I don't want flat walls, I want it to have texture, I want to paint on top of everything rather than a flat canvas and get out of the line. So, sir?
I don't like going after you. Man, I don't have an answer like that. That's amazing.
Like I said, that's my own path.
You like to talk.
I came late, but came with a bang.
I'll answer your question in a little bit of a different way. I geeked out on the technical side of painting graffiti and using spray cans. So I like the fact that we were taking like a garden shed tool and making, and there were people out there making beautiful artwork with it. So I geeked out on what I could get the spray can to actually do. So maybe not so much the way I graduated towards it, well, I don't know. I guess I sort of gravitated towards realism because I found it the hardest thing to do. So with my graffiti letters, I started off with just my traditional New York wild style, flat sort of 2D letters. And I slowly moved into 3D rendered German style, like dime or seat pieces or something. You guys don't know who these people are. But looking, there he does. But looking more like a 3D object as opposed to like a graffiti piece. And then once I sort of thought that I'd done that, I moved on to the thing that I thought was the next hardest, which was realistic painting, and I still find it the hardest thing to do. I mean, I can't do a lot of the things that you guys do, but I think that realism, I still find it a huge struggle, and it's draining on my brain, it's draining on my body, and that's what I kind of vibe off. I like the challenge, I like it being difficult. If it was easy, I wouldn't want to do it. So I developed my style just through the need to push myself, and just geek out on the whole technical side.
Actually, I resonate really well with Sam Smock's response. I say I'm a bit of a geek with realism, although I haven't been painting as long as him, and he is one of my all-time favorite artists, which is kind of cool, and being able to be here and paint with him. In terms of style, I kind of try to produce my work with traditional kind of formula from Renaissance and traditional oil painting, and push myself into the street artwork through challenging myself through problematic issues, and I'm still dealing with them every day, and I still, even today, was like, yeah, this is the last wall I'm ever going to do, like I'm done. But then I just know that it's all part of it, and I think my style, I'm really trying hard to create a translation from my studio practice, because I find that that in itself is really challenging, but super important for me to be able to speak my narrative and have it fluent and fluid throughout my voice and my execution of my work from the studio to the street. But it is problematic, but yeah, I love that part of it, and I guess if it stopped and I figured stuff out, I would just probably quit because it'd be boring.
It's a drug.
Rose. Go. You got it. You got it. You got it.
Okay, my style is big ears.
It's like a movie.
His style is very unique because it was created out of the necessity of like being unique. And he started adding those big ears. Have you guys know his artwork?
Yeah. Real big.
Super big ears.
We don't know yours, we know his.
I will come on later.
We don't know.
So his style is amazing and unique because whatever he paints, if you see those big ears, you automatically know it's him. So he found a way of making his artwork unique and yet being able to paint whatever he wants. He also, like the other painters, he uses people from the community. He paints the guy that takes care of the building or the policeman that saved his kid, whatever. So he interacts with the community with his paintings too. But I think it's funny because his artwork, his ears, big ears, are so amazing. But people, it's like, I see them with him, like, yo, I love what you do. I want one of those, but without the big ears. I'm like, then that would be him. I know, but those big ears are really big. Yeah, but that's what you like about it. If I painted this guy without big ears, then it's just another painting. And they're like, oh yeah, and then they get it with the big ears. But I because I travel with him and I translate for him, I see that all the time. And it's just people, they know it's like average person that is not involved in the art like us. They know it's special, they just don't know why. And then once you explain it, they get it. Well, that took him, 20 years to develop, And
White kids.
Porque han pintado los niños.
Can I say something about that? Because I have a very, nobody's talking to you, but we're talking to Chicos.
White kids.
I can answer that.
Give it to me.
He likes to paint kids because they are pure in soul. They don't have evil on them, and then every day is joy and happiness. So he paints them because that helps his paintings be joyful and happy. You know what it is. I want to talk about my amazing style, amazing. Well, really, I owe all these to my little friend here, Ruben, because he's the one that's been. I'm very stubborn and dumb with a lot of stuff, but the only thing I follow, it worked out for me. It was when I met Ruben, I knew he was super talented, and he already had all the talent that I didn't have, and I decided that I will say whatever he says, and use his experience to do my career instead of like hitting the stone to figure out what. Don't hit it. Like when you're young or whatever, people tell you don't go there because you're gonna fall, and yet you still go there and fall, and then you know, okay, I shouldn't go there. I avoided that, and I thought to myself, I'm gonna say whatever he told me to do, and I did it, and it took me where I'm at. So I really appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you, buddy.
And now I developed this style, and I'm gonna tell you a quick little story that is personal, but I think it's fun. Before I met Ruben, my daughter used to sit down with me when I come home and draw, and she would tell me, can you draw with me that? I'm like, yeah, of course. And I will sit down, and she's like, I'm like, why do you want me to draw you? And she's like, I want a unicorn. I'm like, okay, what color? Pink, okay. So I'll do a unicorn pink, and then done. What else you want? Another unicorn. What color? Pink. So I would do this unicorn over and over and over for like 100 times. And then one time I was helping Ruben buff a wall, and then we had an extra wall in the festival, and they said, yo, paint that wall. I'm like, you crazy, what am I gonna do there? Paint that freaking unicorn. And it was very easy for me because it was already plotted in my head. I'm like, and then everyone loved it. So my style is really dope, but it's actually developed by that gentleman.
I don't know.
I'm just an experiment
I don't know
of a street art.
It was not developed. I didn't develop it, he developed it. I just kind of, the reality, and I think that as they went through, I was analyzing it, that's what I wanted to add. I didn't want to answer for Citrus. I didn't want to do a Kanye West over here, you know. I wasn't that. It's just that, the reality is that once you get to a certain point, you are analyzing yourself. It's really, it sounds cliche or whatever, but it's just that the more you meet these artists and speak to them, the more you realize that they're exactly like the paintings are. They are exactly like the paintings are. If you talk to Goldman for a while and then you go back and see the paintings, you're like, they have the same freaking dumb smile. You know? And it's beautiful. I hated Basquiat, and I saw Basquiat, I read about Basquiat, and then I came back and I'm like, this is amazing. It's his mind on canvas. And that happens to every single one of these. His pain and how he creates this amazing, that's his drive. To me, it's speed, and the things that I see, to be able to freestyle it. To Cyprus, he's a child at heart. He's good, he's amazing. The more you talk to him, he has kept me out of problems. It's like, Ruben, coming. And it's like crazy. That's how it is. So I think it's an expression of self to the true form, and that's really it. That's what it's style for.
So,
Yes, all my life, but I don't have a job like everybody else.
So before I introduce our new party up here, you know, in talking about style and as an organizer and as someone who, you know, when we started Beyond Walls and with this mission to activate space to strengthen community, there was a thought that was, there's a few components that allow you to activate space in a bigger way, a bolder way. And so the size, the scale of the piece and the skill of the piece is instrumental to that. And so when I've seen street art throughout the world, the stuff that most stopped me in my tracks was the stuff that was just awe-inspiring. You know, that you just see it and you become transfixed in it, and you're frozen in it, and you can't believe that someone could create such a thing. And so, you know, then you've got to figure out how you're going to put art up on walls when no one knows you, and
you haven't yet developed a relationship, so there's not this trust established. And also, by the way, you haven't done it before, right? So Beyond Walls came about, but it was a cast of characters that hit it off with each other. But none of us had ever done a street art festival. None of us had ever lit 3 bridges before. None of us had hung vintage neon throughout the city. None of us had ever conserved the 1942 jet engine. You know, it's all like bonkers, right? It's like crazy stuff, but we've got some attributes and we've got some skills and we've got a great board behind us and we've got a great community that we work in. And so you learn. And so in 2017, when we were starting out, you know, our wall agreement with building owners had us have to provide a sketch 11 days before the artist arrived. And what we found was in this 11th hour, or for Beyond Walls purposes, our 12th hour, right? The artist is on the flight. And we suddenly have a building owner who becomes an art critic. And even though the sketch is family friendly and not overtly political, which was the deal, he now wants a tiger. And he doesn't want big ears. Right? And so that had us say, well, shoot, you know what? We've got enough about us that maybe we should take out the sketch. We need to see a sketch so that we can make sure it's family friendly. But the building owner doesn't need a sketch. And that proved true, right? We were able to do the part of the 2017 collection and almost entirely the 2018 collection without providing a sketch. And now some of the walls that we've most wanted, most coveted, the chips on our shoulder, the things that were left undone from 2017, those walls have come to us in 2018. But I found myself the other day, we had an artist who we will ultimately bring here, Mademoiselle Maurice, and really impressive artist. She actually uses metal, and she was going to really work with the community to do this, but it's a calligraphy with metal. And she puts it up, fixes it on walls, and it's colored, and it creates a visual pattern. And it depends on your perspective how you see that pattern. Really cool stuff. But unfortunately for us, right before she was to catch the flight, she's had a personal issue and couldn't come. And so we'd already primed the wall. And the wall's a big wall. And so we have a group, right? We have Ruben, Golden, and Cypros, who actually also came to us as a group, right? The idea here is that we're going to do some community engagement work with them. We're looking at a basketball court. We're looking at some very interesting projects that would be really big and very impactful for the community. But we still have this wall that's now been primed, and I found myself falling into a trap, right? So I'm chasing it, and I want to put up a piece of art, and I'm dealing with a building manager who then has to deal with a building owner, and I've got Ruben, who's doing his, he's just coming back from Brooklyn, where he did a dissecting of Biggie, and this has been his, you know, when I met Ruben, I knew Ruben as this man that did these amazing gorillas, you know. He was the first artist I met in 2016 on a trip, and I saw his art. I said, who did this gorilla? And these guys went out and found Ruben, and, you know, it took us 2 years to get Ruben here for a variety of reasons that he's here, right? And I knew him as doing the gorillas and translated and doing these dissection pieces. I know Golden's work, right? So it's not just the unicorn, but he has other animals that he does and characters, and I know his work. And I know Cypros' work. And I'm in love with all of them, right? And Cypros' work is really powerful to me. But I found myself with this building management company describing what I thought their work would be as a collab. And he'd look through their Instagram feeds, and he liked their work, But he came back and said, you know, I like their work, but you know, I want this, you know, and I don't want to bring it to the building owner, you know, blah, blah, blah. And so I found myself, you know, sharing with Cipros the conversation. And then I said, Cipros, and this is through Josie translating, Cipros, he loves your work. He loves your work. But I'm trying to like water it down instead of just being direct. I'm like, he doesn't want anything cartoonish. So, you know, I'm like worried about Golden's work, right? But I'm also worried about Cipros's work. And then I say what really is at the core of it. He doesn't want big ears. And Josie, who's been translating the whole time, doesn't need to translate this. Cipros says, it was, without big ears, there is no Cipros. Cipros is big ears. And I walked over, you know, I immediately got it. You know, he then shared something that, you know, he goes, Al, you don't fight for it, don't force it, right? You're trying to force things. And then whenever you do that, it doesn't usually work, right? And you're trying to force it. And I got it. And on the back end of it, I can't believe I fell into that trap again, you know? But I get it, and it is pretty powerful. And
it's because you're trying to make everybody happy.
I'm trying to, you know, you'll often be in this space and people, you know, love art, but art evokes an awful lot of emotion. And it's powerful. It brings, you know, it brings out love. It brings out hate. It starts conversations, and that's what's powerful about it, right? It brings up challenges. People share their thoughts on it, and if art can be used as a facility to make a conversation happen, then that's tremendous. That's what it's there for, right? So, but you know, thank you, Cipros, for that lesson. So, do we have another question? Yeah, we do. What's that?
To your left.
To my left. Oh, jeez, I am so sorry. It's amazing how you can have like a bearded Portuguese man beside you. Yeah. So, talk about styles. Adfuel was here with us, and something. Well, why don't you share your background, share what you're doing here in Lynn, and a little bit about your style, if you can.
Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. Sorry I'm late. It's painting. Yeah, that's why I only got here like 10 minutes ago. Yeah, so my name is Diogo, not Diego, as so many people call me. Diogo, and I'm Portuguese. My name is also can also be Adfuel, you know, it's more English, more international, I would say. Anyway, going back to what I do, I work mainly with patterns, and this is like really an oversimplification of what I do, but like in its core, let's just call it like this. So I can dissect it a little bit. My work comes from a lot from the inspiration comes from the very, very big tradition of Portuguese ceramics. We have tiles called azulejos, you know. They're a little bit all over the world. They're in Mexico. They're in so many different countries. And you know, this is my core inspiration. But what I do is more than just put patterns on walls. I like to rethink tradition in a way to make something that's present in the 15th century or the 16th century was something very highly visible.
Shake it. We all been through it tonight.
Hello? Mic check. Yeah, so by bringing forward these patterns into a more like contemporary or street art scene, actually what I do is I redraw all of them and create my own patterns where they have like this double vision thing where you can see them like from a distance. They look super traditional. If you see it close, they're filled with characters and monsters and elements and skulls and bones and whatever slimy things that you want to do. And so this is my transformation of a pattern. And this is one other point of view that can be seen within my work. What I do is when I travel and I paint in different countries, different cities, I try to adapt. So I try to move out from the Portuguese style inspiration and make it something for the people, for the community of the location where I'm painting. I'm going to be very honest with you, the US is one of the most difficult places for me to paint. You guys have zero tradition in tiles and patterns.
Not everything looks the same.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite easy in Europe, it's, Africa, it's beautiful,
Sorry.
Latin America, beautiful. I mean, but over here it's complicated. And what I tend to do when I work here in the U.S. is think about the people. So the U.S. is made out of people from so many different countries, and
Shake it. Harder. There you go.
Hey, you want to be my shake guy?
No, I'm the one that says to shake it.
Yeah, so I did think about the people and not the pattern itself, and where do all these people come from, and what are all these people that just make America, and the result of all of the walls, all of the murals I did in America is just a big mixture of so many different patterns that come from all of these so many different backgrounds, which this is my way to connect with the US. So over here in Lynn, I kind of sorted out, thought about it that way as well. I made a big mix of different patterns from different cultures, redraw them all, and well, this is my small gift. This is what I can do in a way to connect to all so many different people from different backgrounds that live here in Lynn. And this is another aspect, and I can go with another one. So, and then what I do also do is working with this concept of tradition, of heritage, of a pattern being something that is always connected to a certain people, to a certain country, and being something from the past. I feel that it's interesting to create this kind of layered effect behind the wall, so that it looks like it's been torn, it's been ripped from the wall. So the wall is actually filled with patterns originally, and then it's been ripped off, and it's something that's being discovered because all of these cultural elements or traditional elements are, in a way, like as a concept, they're like hidden behind our cities, behind the walls of our cities. So I kind of like to rip them off and show like that this thing is this cultural ideas is behind the walls. So yeah, that's and that's I think that's it.
So, I want to thank all the artists for being with us tonight. Let's give them a round of applause. So I think this is our, for us, this is a very special year because we do have this mixed medium aspect to the work here. These artists work in a variety of means, and I really encourage you to grab the map, to come out, to see the pieces while they're being put up, right? To see the process of that. If you enjoyed tonight, to really come out to the other events that we've got. I think this battle on the waterfront on shipping containers on Saturday is going to be a really interesting event. That's 8 to 10 p.m. You know, this is on a future site where Beyond Walls is trying to make a 3-acre public park, right? To give parties real access to the water's edge, to have amenities for all, and to put a stake in the ground, right? To say, hey, we need to have access to a public park on the waterfront. You know, we get the struggle of the city, we know the development needs, right? We need housing, but we also need to ensure that the public has access to the waterfront. And so this is the kickoff of that project, gets people aware of it, and I really hope that everyone can come out for that. I just one last time want to thank the team and all of our support staff. I want to point out Julia's mom, who's in the back here. Who always did the board for being here and for doing all of the things that they support and all of the video teams. So thank you guys. We'll see you on the streets, yeah?